Okay, welcome then to this video on interpreting or reading or making sense of pie charts. You should have watched the video we did previously on creating pie charts. If you haven't, the link will be in the description below. Okay, so here we go. Just one example here, because then the process is quite generic, really. So some people are asked what their favorite subject was at school. Better be maths, that's what I'm saying. The responses are illustrated in the pie chart shown. Produce a frequency table for this data set. Right, so my pie chart is here. Sorry, this is the pie chart here. Okay, this one here. And we're asked to turn this pie chart back into a frequency table. Okay, so like previous video, I'm probably have to go back between my tablet and the camera a couple of times. So might be a bit of a faff. So bear with me if I have to switch things around or pause the video at certain points. Okay, but the key thing here to note, all right, is this sample size here of 120. All right, the whole pie chart stands for 120 people. Okay, and it's about favorite subjects. And 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 sections. Okay, so if I just get my tablet ready a minute without causing mayhem, I'll move this a minute. And then I'll go back to the PowerPoint. Right. So we said, didn't we, that it's about subjects, your favorite subject. So my table is going to look like subject and the frequency. Okay, that's what we know. I remember there were four sectors, so 4 rows. So maths, English, French, and the last section was called other to account for all other possibilities. And remember, the sample size was 120. So we know that our total frequency at the end must be 120. Okay. Now, if you think back to the step we took in the last video, remember we always saw how much one vote stood for by doing 360 degrees divided by the sample size. Okay, so just 120, sorry, people. And this gives you 3 degrees per vote. So every vote is worth 3 degrees. And then remember, with the pie chart, it's all about the angles. Last time we were finding the angles. Now we're finding the frequencies. So I think the best thing, well, the only thing we can do now is to measure each angle and then try and work backwards. Okay, so again, excuse my quick equipment change again. Here we go. So if I change to the camera and focus again. Right, let's measure the maths angle first of all. Okay, remember last video we said that you must have your protractor centered on the 0 line, which for maths at the top. And again, remember using the outside scale because there's the relevant 0. So follow it around and you see that this sector is 150 degrees. Okay, so I'll put it on the table now, but I'll put it on the pie chart first of all. Maths is 150 degrees. And if you want to measure the English sector, then you could turn this protractor upside down, but maybe easier, like last video, to rotate the pie chart. So you've got a nice new starting line here, a nice vertical start line, and again measure it. And you can see that if I get it nice and centered, this angle here is 120 degrees. So English was 120 degrees. And again, for the French sector, maybe like this, look, vertical again, and measure 60 degrees. And then for the other sector, all the way around, pardon me, measure this again, look, and we are getting an angle of 30 degrees. Okay, so I'll just change my equipment over a second, and we'll put those angles into our table. So excuse me 2 seconds. PowerPoint first, tablet second. Here we go. Right, so we said that the angle for maths was 150 degrees. The angle for English was 120 degrees. French was 60 degrees. and the other section was 30 degrees. Remember, best to check, do our angles sum here to 360 degrees? They do. If you add these up, we do make 360 degrees, which is what we wanted. And now we've got to think, haven't we? Thinking back to the last video, remember we would have done, wouldn't we, to get the angle, because every vote is 3 degrees, whatever the frequency was, we would have multiplied by 3, wouldn't we? So it was 10 votes. That would be 10 times 3 was 30. But now I see I'm working backwards, aren't I? I'm trying to think, something times 3 is 150. Well, either do it in your head, can't you? Or you should know. All right, how to inverse the operation. 50 times 3 is 150. All right. I mean, hopefully you see what you're doing really, isn't it? Because last time we were going this way, we were multiplying. If you're working backwards, you would be dividing by 3, wouldn't you? To undo the multiplication. So that would be 50 people there. Okay. Again, English. 120 divided by 3, I think, is 40. And you can check, can't you? 40 times 3 is 120. So these two are definitely correct. Again, if you're working backwards, how many 3s do we need to make 60? Well, I think it's 20. But again, you can check if you want. Yeah, that's right. And again, this one, how many 3s do we need to make 30? Well, 30 divided by 3 is 10. So just to recap here, okay, all I've done 150 divided by 3 here. I've done 120 divided by 3 here. I've done 60 divided by 3 here. And I've done 30 divided by 3 here. And that will always work. To work backwards, just divide by your multiplier. Okay, and we're done. Obviously, one last check you can do is 50, add 40, add 20, add 10, 120. Luckily for us, it is. Okay, so job done. I think I might just try this one more thing, because that actually went a lot quicker than I thought it would, which is good. So if I just get rid of all this here, gone. If I just show you one more quick example, I won't do the whole example, but I'll just show you how to start it off just generally. Okay, if we're looking at this second chart, this is about people's ages. All right, then can you see here the sample size is 60. Okay, so this one will be slightly different, but again, you measure all the angles, and this time, let's go back to the PowerPoint, because the sample size was 60. If you were going to make your table, you would do 360 divided by 60, which tells you in this case every vote is worth 6 degrees. So then you would measure each angle, and to get the frequency, you would divide by 6. Okay, and that trick will always work. Find how much one vote is, then divide the angle by that to get your frequencies. Okay, just working backwards from last video. Right then, I got a quick checking question today as well. Okay, so perhaps pause the video here, have a go, come back when you're ready. Okay, welcome back. Now, see this one, there is no pie chart here, all right, to look at really, all right? So again, you may want to just sketch a quick pie chart. All right, maybe, I don't know, this is just a very quick pie chart. I'm only sketching. So a pie chart was used. Respond either yes or no. So there's 2 sectors. The sector angle for no was 54 degrees, right? So if I just draw a rough starting line, and 54 degrees, well, I don't know, just a rough sketch, right? Here, that's 54 degrees. And this is no. And the rest of the sector, so the rest of the pie chart is going to be the yes vote, because it was a yes or no question. And you could definitely work out, couldn't you, the angle for the yes sector, all right, just by doing 360 take away 54 degrees, because angles in a circle, in a full turn around the point, whatever you want to call it, remember, they have to sum to 360 degrees. you do that, okay, I think you get 306 degrees. So this big angle here is 306 degrees. Okay, right. So I've taken care of this as well. I've done what I can with it. What percentage of the people surveyed responded yes to the question? What percentage? Well, you may think you can't do this because there's no sample size. I'm like, where's the sample size? It's not there. But there is a way to do it, because if you think, again, for the yes, I hope you agree that as a fraction, 306 degrees out of 360 degrees is taken up by yes. And I'm hoping now I can cancel this fraction down a bit and try and make it into a percentage this way. All right, so you may be able to spot straight away. Actually, I think these are both in the 6 times table. But if you couldn't spot that, they're definitely both even, for example, aren't they? So you could divide it both by 2. All right, and that will be 153 over 180. And you might see again that these are both in the 3 times table. How many 3s in 153? Ooh, well, 51. And how many 3s in 180? Ooh, 60. And actually, they're both again in the 3 times table. This is going to work out really well, actually, here. Luckily for us. If you know about the darts, you know treble 17 is 51. And obviously 23s is 60. And I can definitely make 17/20 as come into a percentage. As long as the denominator is going to be 100, we're going to win. And so 20 times 5 is 100. 17 times 5 is 85. So this fraction here is 85%. And we're done. Okay, so on a question without the sample size, you might have to link pie charts back to angle rules, fractions, percentages, all that sort of stuff. Okay, but think on your feet, don't panic, and you'll be okay. All right, so we're all done. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. I'll see you soon.